Greetings, dear viewers. Let's delve into the recent happenings in the royal sphere. Picture this: a key player in the royal lineup, noticeably absent from significant events and engagements, suddenly reappears, just in time for the cameras. Yes, you guessed it. We're talking about Kate, who's been missing from the royal scene for weeks now. She's been conspicuously absent from key royal events like Royal Ascot, and has been noticeably distant from her patronages. This prolonged absence, however, was abruptly ended with a well-timed photo op where she discusses her difficult journey of recovery from cancer. But here's the thing: there's been no video footage, no candid moments. Instead, we've been presented with carefully curated photos and vague sound bites, all of which have received full press coverage. One might say it's all been a bit too perfect, a bit too controlled. This raises a question: why the sudden reappearance? Could it be that she's turned up in time to secure tickets to Wimbledon? It's a clever move if so, but it's one that doesn't go unnoticed. Now let's compare this with King Charles, who, despite battling advanced cancer himself, continues to fulfill his royal duties. He's out there, hosting events, making appearances, working. Yet, Kate seems to drift in and out of her duties as it suits her, and the public is expected to simply applaud. This pattern of behaviour is beginning to feel less like a recovery journey and more like a strategic rebranding. It feels like a public relations tactic, a way to reset the narrative every few weeks, to keep the public's attention. And of course the media plays its part. They rush to portray her as brave, inspiring, glowing. Yet, if this were Meghan Markle in the same situation, we all know the headlines would be far less flattering. The double standards are indeed staggering. This isn't transparency, it's PR theatre. Kate's sudden reappearance has left many speculating about the real motivations behind it. Could there be more to Kate's timing than meets the eye? Let's draw a parallel here. On one hand, we have King Charles. Despite battling advanced cancer, he continues to serve his role diligently. Royal duties aren't put on pause for him. He hosts events, makes appearances, and remains active in his royal responsibilities. His commitment is unwavering, his dedication clear. On the other hand, we have Kate. She has a different approach. She fades in and out of the public eye as it suits her. There's a certain convenience to her appearances. She's absent for weeks, missing key royal events such as the Royal Ascot. She's distant from her patronages. Then, out of the blue, she reappears. It's not a casual re-entry, but a well-planned photo op. She talks about the really difficult journey of her cancer recovery. Yet, there are no videos, no unscripted moments, just carefully selected photos, vague snippets of conversation and full press coverage. And here's a kicker: she conveniently reappears just in time for Wimbledon. Is her sudden engagement a ticket to the royal box seats? Well, if so, we must say, well played, Kate. But perhaps a little more effort next time. It's becoming increasingly clear that this pattern of disappearance and reappearance isn't just about recovery. It's strategic. It's a way to control the narrative, to rebrand and refresh her image at opportune moments. Yet, the public is expected to applaud, to admire her bravery, to be inspired by her glow. But let's not forget the double standard. If this were Meghan Markle, the headlines would be less than flattering. So, let's call it what it is. This isn't transparency, it's a carefully orchestrated public relations act. It's PR theatre. While King Charles stays committed to his duties, Kate seems to choose her public moments carefully. The media, as always, plays a crucial role in shaping public perception. Let's take a closer look at how the media is painting this picture. The portrayal of Kate in this scenario is overwhelmingly positive. Brave and inspiring are some of the adjectives that are generously sprinkled across articles and headlines. Each appearance, no matter how infrequent, is celebrated and seen as a testament to her strength and resilience. But let's pause for a moment and consider this. The very same actions, if performed by Meghan Markle, would likely be met with a very different response. Instead of brave and inspiring, words like attention-seeking and phony would probably be used. The media narrative would likely shift from one of admiration to one of skepticism and criticism. This isn't a mere hypothesis. We've seen this play out in the past. Remember when Meghan took a short break from her royal duties? The backlash was swift and unrelenting. Yet, when Kate does the same, it's seen as a brave act of self-care. We need to question this disparity in treatment. It's not about picking sides. It's about acknowledging the glaring double standards. Why is one woman hailed for her strength in the face of adversity, while another is chastised for essentially the same actions. The media has a responsibility to present a balanced view, to hold everyone to the same standards. Yet what we see is a stark contrast in the way the media frames these two women. One is always the heroine, the other, the villain. This isn't just about Kate or Meghan. It's about every woman who's been subjected to this kind of bias. It's about the power of the media to shape public opinion and the responsibility that comes with it. The stark contrast in media coverage raises questions about double standards. Is it fair? Is it just? Or is it just another instance of the media playing favourites? We'll leave you with these questions to ponder over. What we are witnessing seems less like transparency and more like a well-rehearsed play. The plot thickens in the saga of Kate's mysterious disappearances and sudden reappearances. It's time to peel back the layers and take a closer look at the possibility of these being strategic PR moves designed to control the narrative around her. The pattern is hard to ignore. Kate vanishes for weeks, and then, like a phoenix rising from the ashes, she's back, just in time for a carefully planned photo opportunity. These random appearances are starting to feel less spontaneous, and more like a well-calibrated PR tactic. But why would she need to do this? The answer lies in the power of narrative control. By dictating when and where she appears, Kate effectively controls the story around her. She becomes the author of her own tale, and we, the public, are left to consume the narrative she's carefully constructed. This isn't necessarily a bad thing. After all, we all have the right to control our own stories. But when the narrative being presented is at odds with the reality, that's when eyebrows start to raise. Is this a case of strategic rebranding? Are these absences and appearances part of a larger plan to reset the narrative every few weeks? If so, it's a clever play, but it's a play nonetheless. A PR theatre where Kate is both the director and the star. The implications of such a tactic are far-reaching. It raises questions about authenticity, about the true nature of the public figures we admire. It brings to light the double standards and bias that often go unnoticed. And it forces us to confront an uncomfortable truth, that the stories we consume are often carefully curated, that what we see is not always what we get. If this is indeed a PR tactic, one can't help but question the authenticity of these random appearances. As the curtain falls on this act of the royal drama, we're left with more questions than answers. And the show, it seems, is far from over. So, what can we conclude from all this? Well, we've journeyed through the enigmatic disappearance of Kate and her convenient reappearances just when it's time for a feel-good photo op. We've seen her skip key royal events only to pop up when it suits her. The timing is a tad too perfect, wouldn't you agree? We've watched as the media has played a pivotal role, painting her as brave, inspiring, and glowing. Yet one can't help but wonder if the tables were turned, would they be so kind? The double standards are indeed staggering. We've also considered the possibility that this could all be a PR theatre, a strategic rebranding, if you will, a way to reset the narrative every few weeks. The question is, are we watching a recovery or are we watching a performance? What's clear from all this is the inconsistency in Kate's appearances, the inconsistency in the media portrayal, and the inconsistency in the public's response. Let's not forget King Charles, who, despite battling advanced cancer, is still fulfilling his royal duties, hosting events, making appearances, doing the work. The stark contrast between him and Kate is hard to ignore. So is this all a calculated PR strategy? Is Kate's recovery being used as a prop in a grander narrative? Are we being asked to applaud on cue? It's hard to say, but one thing's for sure. The public isn't easily fooled. While we may never know the full truth, one thing remains clear. Transparency is more valuable than ever, and the absence of it more noticeable than ever. We're left with many unanswered questions, but it's these questions that keep us intrigued, keep us watching, keep us questioning. While the truth remains unknown, it's clear that the public isn't easily fooled. Thank you for joining us on this intriguing exploration. Remember to subscribe for more insightful content.